Welcome to the award-winning show, Unveiling Africa, one handsome and beautiful face at a time. Today we have in our midst a chiropractor who is going to tell us a lot about this wonderful practice that soothes the body and clears the mind. But it's most important because he's bringing this back to Africa, and he's going to tell us about his experience while he's been away trying to introduce this to the continent of Africa. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our doctor here, Dr. James Ijiwoye. Nice to meet you and welcome again.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here and that you took time out of your busy schedule to tell us more about the chiropractic practice, yes, especially in Africa as it relates to our people and our health care. You know, we want to first of all find out where he comes from in Nigeria, because he's apparently from Nigeria, right?
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself, Dr. Ijiwoye.
Well, I'm from Nigeria, as you said, from Ile-Ife, which is in Osun State.
Okay.
I left there quite a while ago, back about when I was 15 years old. At the time, it was Oyo State, and then they split it up and become Osun State. So, but I've been in the U.S. now. I was in the United States from 1981.
Whoa.
Up until 2009, and then I started thinking about chiropractic in Africa. So
that is very interesting. And while you were doing your chiropractic practice here in America, did you ever, at any point in time, think about going back to home to bring this wonderful practice to our people?
Yeah, actually, when I was in school, that was one of the thoughts that goes through my mind was how to introduce this art to Africa, because we're so used to the modern medicine, and Africa being a continent where we believe in natural healing. So the idea of introducing chiropractic, which is a natural form of healing, and taking it back to Africa was always been there. But it takes time to really kind of get this thing going, because you're always thinking, what is it going to take? Is it something that they're going to be willing to even accept, because it's not medicine, it's not you giving them pills or anything like that. So,
and that's what I find fascinating, and I think people should embrace, because it's a healing process that does very little with pills, but the natural, your natural body.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about the history of chiropractic. How did it come about?
Okay. Actually, chiropractic has been around even before the modern medicine. This is something that is, if you go back to the date, it dates back to the ancient Romans.
Okay.
So the father of medicine, Hippocrates, actually they were using this chiropractic medicine back then. Back, if you look at some of the hieroglyphics that they've shown, it used to be done by about 3 to 4 physicians trying to adjust or take care of one patient. Wow. So what we've done is in the last, in 1895 is when it was introduced in the West, as a form of healing hearts by D.D. Palmer, which is a fellow from Canada, but in Iowa. And then his son, B.J. Palmer, now made it even much bigger. Yeah. So that's why it's so big in the U.S. But as far as the rest of the world, it's taking a little bit longer. I mean, we have more schools here in the U.S. Than you do anywhere else, but it is actually, they have in England, they have in one school in South Africa, in Spain, in Germany, and in France. So, and even I believe in Tokyo somewhere. So it's spreading, but it's not
still not very strong out there. And it's very nice that you're bringing this to Africa, because I think in the African concept of healing, it also relates to a kind of the way we heal ourselves too. We're not big into pills and drugs, where we use mostly herbs and massages, and oils.
And that was what I thought about when I first started, about 15, 16 years ago, was how it's, I mean, back in 1994, I was thinking, chiropractor is almost like in Africa, because I remember sometimes when we get sick, grandma would go and get some
herbs,
tree barks, and cook it, and you drink it, and you get better.
Right.
But now people are into their medicine. They're really, really into drugs and taking pills, because they really believe that it's going to fix it.
Yes.
And part of the reason why in the last 3-4 years that got me start thinking more and more about it was I started to find out, aside from the medication that they're taking, some of these medications were fake. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I impact their health? Because if they cannot get the real deal, then let's introduce something that is not no drugs at all,
Yes.
and just get them doing something on a natural basis.
Yes.
So that's
I like that very much, and I think the basis of what you're doing is very powerful, because if more people understand what chiropractic practice,
chiropractic, yeah.
yeah, does for your body, you'll have a lot more following. So now, how are you trying to introduce this concept now to the people back home, especially to the smaller villages, or the big cities? Some of the big cities are aware of this, but now going back into the inner cities and the smaller towns,
Yeah,
how do you break this into their
well,
culture?
the funniest thing is that Nigeria, as big as it is, I mean, we have over 160 million people.
Yes.
According to my research, as maybe 4 chiropractors there, and out of those 4, supposedly,
Oh
I've only met one guy, and he's actually based in Abuja, and he's telling me that he knows of another guy, but he doesn't even know if the other 3 are practicing at all.
Ooh.
So he's not really. So really, I mean, the big cities really don't know either. I mean, Lagos, as populated as Lagos is, there's only one guy there in Lagos. I mean, I'm yet to call him. I mean, I have his number, but I just, I've been busy because the few months, 4.5, 5 months that I've spent there was more or less to try to create awareness for it. Okay. And so, I mean, we do, because Nigeria is not like, unlike United States, where I can advertise as a chiropractor and put an ad in the paper, go on the TV, on the radio. The ethics there precludes medical doctors or lawyers from having to advertise their business. So you have to come on the shows like your show, where somebody invites you as a presenter, and then and then from there you can talk about what you do.
Okay.
But even with that, you can't say come to me, because.
But you make them aware of the service.
So we did that. Actually, it's funny enough. We did one radio station that spans, multiple states, and that's how we even get a lot of the patients that were coming. People were so starving for it because they've given up. They've taken a lot of medication,
pills,
and the pain is still there, and it's not going away.
Yeah.
And so I even have a few patients that are medical doctors, lawyers. So because they don't want to go to the medicine anymore because they've taken so much of it and it's not getting any better. So that makes it very good to know that, okay, at least we can do more. But we have to do awareness, and that's part of what your show will do, is to help us to bring awareness to the continent. That chiropractic is good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Actually, one more thing. I have a colleague of mine that has a practice in Ghana. He's an American gentleman, and currently he has 5 clinics in Ghana. And Ghana is a smaller country, and he has 5 clinics. So there's a need for it, and people appreciate it. So that's why we need to, introduce
encourage
this
people,
and Nigeria, that as big as we are, we're so learned that people. This thing is to be there.
Yes. So now tell me, what do you do when you do service a patient? How do you treat them? So that people will know, because people are afraid of pain? Is it going to be painful? Is it going to be something that's intrusive? Is it going to be something that I'll have to have some pain after I leave there? So can you just elaborate a little bit of exactly what you do when you do your work?
Sure. Well, chiropractic actually is a heart and science of actually when you're looking at the body, because we're thinking, okay, the cause and effect. If somebody has a headache, now, do they have the headache because of the pain of the headache itself, or is this something else going on within the body? Now, we always look at pain. Pain itself is like an alarm system.
Right.
It's like if you have a house and you have alarms, little alarm system, the little alarm detectors or whatever for the smoke detectors throughout your house. Their job is to go off when there's smoke.
Yes.
But before you get smoke, there's fire.
Yes.
And same thing with our body. We have pain, but pain is the last thing to show. The pain, whatever the problem has been going on for so long, the pain comes out last.
Okay.
So by the time they come to see us or they go to the medical doctor, is when they feel the pain.
Yes.
So now when they go to the medical doctor, they give them medicine to cover the pain, but the cause is still there.
Still there.
So my job as a chiropractor is not to worry so much about the pain, is to figure out what the cause is. So I remove the cause, so therefore the pain goes away. So we look at it that way, and the fact that the body itself it's a self-healing organism.
Yes.
So the chiropractic belief is that if there's any misalignment of the bone in your spine, because your brain sits up the top,
Right.
and the spinal cord goes all the way down, and there are nerves that comes out from
Of the
throughout your
spine,
spine
yeah.
that goes to different organs in the body. So if there's a problem where a bone is slightly misaligned, that can put pressure on the nerves, which causes the nerves not to function at 100%. So,
Yeah.
and the organ that that particular nerve goes to doesn't get 100% of the nerve supply.
Right.
So it starts to act up.
Okay.
And that leads to a problem, which, of course, over time, the body's going to try to fix itself because the body's always self-adjust and self-healing.
Right.
So it's going to always try until it says, okay, I'm done, I give up. And then so by the time you give up, that's when you go to the doctor.
Yeah.
So my job is to realign the spine and make sure that by realigning the spine, you make the body work the way it's designed. Now, patients do react to it 3 different ways. The first way is to say, well, you adjust the patient feels great immediately. They just feel like somebody just lifted the world off their body and they feel light. Or they can feel like, well, it's still the same. Or they can feel like, it's more pain than it was. But either of the 3 is good, because for us, I'm not really worried about the pain. Different patient that comes to you at different points in their lives.
Yes.
So the one that felt immediate relief, that's the body was ready for it.
Okay.
The one that feels nothing, the body's just kind of like in that muse, like, well, they don't know what they want to do. The ones that feel more pain, the body's not ready yet. So we just have to keep working with each one of them to get them to where they need to be, to the point. So that's how
That's
we do it, so.
interesting. Very interesting. I finally get the whole gist of chiropractic practice now. So since you've been there, what are the age ranges of people you've treated so far, and how have they reacted to this? Have they been receptive of it, or have they been skeptical of it?
Well, funny enough, because I'm not knowing, because every time I come to Nigeria, just to visit, but you never really tell people what you do.
Yes.
But this time around, we were expecting a little bit more like resistance. But as soon as we finished the radio program, before we even finished, when they give out the phone numbers, they were calling. I had my phone, my brother's phone, my sister in Port Harcourt. They were calling all the lines. Even while we were still on the show, because people were curious and they want to know this brand of medicine. So for the next, from July up until, November, we were still getting calls from people that listen to the show that they just haven't had time to come. They want to come in. So there's not much of a resistance. Now, here in the US, we treat, from age 0 on up. All my children are under chiropractic care since the day they were born. It's just to keep them healthy so they don't get sick. Then you go all the way to the geriatrics, to your older patients.
Yes.
And most of the ones I'm seeing in Nigeria now are the older patients, because they're the ones that really have been suffering with so much
pain.
The young people are not really too worried about that, because they're thinking, I have no money, so I can't, right now I'm okay. But I do treat, even I've treated two young patients, they're age 5 and 6. They're a little bit in development, and the idea was to try to get them more mobility.
Okay.
So one of them, actually worked on. Even his parents. He was with me for 6 weeks, and it was every day we're treating him. Normally we do every other day, but because they live so far away, so we lodge them in a hotel, and then every day we see them every day for 6 weeks. And by the time they went back, the father was very appreciative, because he saw a big difference in the child's behavior, in his,
without
his whole
an introduction of medicine or pills,
So, and then the other one was just, they come every day. They almost have the same thing. We're still down, we're still trading. They just started like maybe 3 weeks before I came. So before I left in the end of November. So, that continues when I get back. But then it ranges in between. I've got 2 young men that were, 26 and 21 that suffered. One woke up one morning, he couldn't feel his feet. And it slowly progressed up to his knee, and then he jumped to the right knee, and then go from right knee down to the right foot, so he can't walk. Then the other young man, somebody hit him, his friend hit him in the head. He was trying to break up a fight. His friend was fighting somebody else, trying to break up the fight, and the guy hit him in the head, and then now he's almost suffering almost like a right-sided stroke.
Oh my
And
goodness.
when the first time coming to us, it was really, you can see it was shaking very hard. And within 2-3 weeks of treatment, the shaking went down to where it's manageable, where the parents can now but they still have to carry him and bring him in. I mean, so I mean, there's hope. The difference between the two patients is that one just happened in January. The one that got hit in the head just happened in January. The other young man, that one happened 2 years ago. So the sooner you can get to a chiropractor,
The better.
the better I mean, we can
Okay.
fix something and then
Right.
get the nerves to work the way they design.
Right.
But if it's longer, then it takes longer.
So, Dr. Ijiwoye, you've told us a lot about chiropractic care, and I'm very fascinated by what it's doing to our bodies. And I know you're going to tell us a little bit more, but my concern is, where do you go from here with chiropractic care in a country like Nigeria, where you still need a lot of awareness? Are you prepared to create schools, learning places, make presentations at schools and universities, and to make people aware of this? And I think when you grab the youths, younger ones, then people begin to grow with this ideology and make it a more acceptable form of healthcare.
Well, that is part of the process. Is part of the long-term goal. Currently, I'm actually in talks with the chief medical director at OAU Teaching Hospital, which is OAU's one of the biggest universities, probably one of the biggest universities in Nigeria.
Wow.
Obafemi Awolowo University. So, and the objective there is once you start consulting with them, it's a federal government, so it may take a bit longer. So, my patients who are medical doctors, I'm consulting with them on their patients, so that helps out because you're using that to educate and make them more aware
of it. Yes.
Now, getting into the federal system will be great because now, once you start consulting with OAU Teaching Hospital, all the doctors there, then that gives you a bigger platform. What I try to teach them is that chiropractic is not just about pain. The chiropractic, when it was founded on the premise of health.
Okay.
So it's not about me having pain, then you go to the chiropractor.
Doctor, yeah.
No, this is about actually making the body work the way it's designed. So all my children, like I said before, from when they come out of the mother's womb, I mean, the doctor handed them to me. I checked their spine to make sure that everything works the way, and they've been under chiropractic care ever since. Now, I mean, not to say that okay, they shouldn't take medicine. I'm not against medicine. What I always tell all my patients is my job is to create wellness. So if that means even if your doctor puts you on a medication, my job is to make sure you don't take it for a long period of time. Is to get your body working the way it's designed, so that even if they say take for 6 weeks, you're not taking it for 2 weeks, your body's working fine, and then we move on.
Yes.
So but as far as with they're creating the awareness, part of the goal really is to eventually develop a curriculum with OAU and then line them up or align them with either one. I went to Life University in Marietta,
Right.
so I'm trying to connect the
Okay,
two
that would
to
be
where
wonderful.
we can take some of the medical students. They're already gone through the medical process, and they're getting to the point where they have to decide what specialty they want to go into. Then we can give them the option of saying, well, you can study to be a chiropractor like myself,
Right.
and then that way we can spread the message across the country, and then they can do the last 6 months of their schooling in the U.S., learning the hardcore chiropractic, the adjustment, and the chiropractic philosophy. So that's part of the goal, is to try to expand it, because there's one school in South Africa. I've never been there, so I don't know what they're teaching.
Yes.
So, and Africa is such a big continent.
It is a huge continent.
I mean, one school does not serve.
Not going to serve the whole of Africa.
No.
Not even 10 schools, I believe. But I'm glad to know that there's a long-term plan, and that we will eventually create some awareness, so that this will be a very lucrative, and not just lucrative, but also very soothing outlet. Without taking medicines for our pain, for our
because they're
health
desperate
care.
for that. I mean, a lot of the people really, when you talk to this, that's the first thing they say is like, I'm just so tired of
taking medicines.
And
then, like you said it previously or earlier on, you're not sure of the medicines you're taking. In countries like that, we have a serious problem with fake drugs and the real drugs. It's hard to tell.
I mean, actually, it is, because before I left, somebody just got arrested. I mean, they brought in about 16 containers.
Oh, come on.
Of
How
fake,
could you do
fake
that?
drugs.
You
So it's
know?
like, so really, something that's treating wellness. So, I
Yeah.
mean, this brand of medicine or healthcare, now you can eliminate some of this.
All
Especially,
these
I
pain
mean,
problems. Yeah.
if we're dealing with neck pain, back pain, hip pain, or whatever, then you don't need to take medicine for all that.
No,
I mean,
no.
we have easy ways to fix that. Now, there are other things that you need medicine for. So like I said, when I consult with my patients, even here in the U.S., all the doctors I work with, medical doctors, it's with that understanding that my job is not to talk about medicine with the patient. I mean, my job is to do my job, which is
Yeah.
to help
Make
them
them feel better.
get to the next step so that they
Yes.
don't take the medicine for a long time. I mean, because we have to think about the liver.
I appreciate that a
The liver
lot.
processes all
Yes.
this
Oh,
anyway.
yes.
So you have to make sure
Yes.
that the shorter time you can take it, the better for the patient.
Right,
So
precisely. I really appreciate and applaud that concept. I mean, that healthcare concept. So, what would you want your legacy to be? Now that you've set out to do this for the people of Africa, starting with Nigeria, what would you like your legacy to be regarding your practice?
well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think about legacy as much. I mean, I'm more concerned about just you know it's more or less just think about how you can help people because
Yes.
like I said, the main reason why I always thought about going back to Africa was I left when I was 15 years old, and at the time you're thinking, oh yeah, this is all this is wonderful. Then as you get older, you start thinking, okay, and I see a lot of my friends, they're Nigerians that are all in America, the medical doctors, the lawyers, the physicists, and you're thinking, wow, we're suffering such a brain drain there. So I wanted to be able to go back
Back and
and
give
give
back.
back to, because
And that's why I do
because
what
that's-
I do, you
yeah,
know.
because I mean, it's not enough to just say, okay, well, yeah, everybody wants to. I mean, I want to do the same thing. I want to make a lot of money,
Yes.
but at the same time, I hate to see people suffering
Suffering,
needlessly
yeah.
when there's easy way to fix the problem. So that's why I'm doing it. So
Well,
legacy-wise, I'm gonna think about it. So
yeah, I highly commend you and I respect you and applaud you for what you're doing because that takes a whole lot of guts and sacrifice
Oh, yeah.
to come back home, come back to your country and share your expertise, especially
Yeah.
in healthcare, which is so desperately needed in Africa. And on a lighter note, I just wanted to know what's your favorite African food or Nigerian food for that matter?
oh, I'm a rice guy. I mean, I like
You like rice?
Oh, I love rice and plantain. So
Oh,
rice
fried
and dodo
plantain,
is
dodo, yes, okay.
It could be it could be fried white rice. It could be jollof
Jollof rice.
Fried rice. I'm not so keen about, but rice and stew and plantain would be
Rice
good to
is
go.
still very plenty.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and what I was asked of my guests, if you had two countries in Africa to travel to, right this minute, I say let's go, Dr. Ijiwoye, let's go start a chiropractic office in these countries. Which of them would you choose? Just two for now, because I know Africa is made up of almost 56 countries and several 6 or 7 islands. But for this matter for now, what two countries would you like to go to or islands?
Well, I mean, well,
And why?
no, not counting Nigeria or
Not counting Nigeria, because you're there already.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's wow. I've never thought about it because I'm still thinking about conquering Nigeria. So that's
Well, you better
it's-
start thinking long term
but no,
and
because
going to other places.
Nigeria is
Or
big,
just,
that's the
just on
thing.
vacation, because we're trying to make.
But I mean, Ghana is a country that actually, because a few of my friends have gone there and they love it. And a few of even my medical doctor friends in South
doing
Africa,
well there.
South Carolina, they all have houses there. They love it there. So I've not been there. So I would love to go there. And South Africa will be the next one.
Yeah, those are the two popular countries actually. A lot of people want to go to South Africa and Ghana, and but you guys don't forget the other parts of Africa too,
Actually, no,
because
but
there's so many other
yeah, but,
countries.
to get to Ghana, you
Beautiful
have to go through
countries.
those other countries too. So
Yeah.
from what I understand, I mean, my friend that bought a property in Ghana, I mean, he was telling me that even Togo is beautiful. I mean, like
Yeah.
so I should go, kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna fly. My plan is to drive from from Nigeria
Lagos
to
Ghana.
so that way you get to see, you get to
different
experience
countries,
because when you're flying you miss all that and you just
Yeah.
kind of
You
bypass
land,
it to land there,
yeah,
and I don't want to do that. So.
Now, talking about South Africa, something currently happened. A lady, I believe a media personality or so from America, was traveling over to South Africa and made a comment or Twitter comment stating, "Oh, I'm going to Africa and I'm Caucasian. Oh, I'm white, and by the way, I'm white, but I hope I don't get AIDS." This just truly blew my mind. because this is exactly why I do Unveiling Africa. Unveiling Africa because it brings awareness to people that we are not all dead or dying of AIDS in Africa. I think that's a totally misleading and inappropriate statement for an educated person to make. How do you feel about this? Because I'm personally hurt.
Yeah, I mean, well, you cannot help but not to be hurt. I mean, but then you kind of chalk it off to ignorance. I mean, just because
I
someone is
mean,
highly educated does not mean there is a term, educated illiterate.
yes.
So, and some of these people do not understand the how AIDS begin or how it affects people. And so for her to even say that, it just shows how ignorant she is.
Totally ignorant.
Because, I mean, just because you're going to visit the country
doesn't mean you're going to contract diseases.
Unless if her plan is to partake in some promiscuity while she's there. I mean,
maybe that was what it was. But I just say this to say that this is why I do what I do, Unveiling Africa. That there's so much more in Africa. Look at, we have chiropractic doctors who go there to heal the people naturally. We have other kinds of doctors, and we have lots going on for us over there. So please do not be afraid to visit the continent. I'm sure by the time you finish with Unveiling Africa and you've seen my different shows and some of my different people who represent these countries, you will know that we are not all dying of AIDS.
That's for sure.
Enough said.
Enough said. Yes. Oh yes. That's plenty.
So now, before I go on a tangent here, tell me what do you see for the continent of Africa, besides talk like that, that you think we should bring to the forefront to the Western world, to make them understand that we are doing a lot.
Well, actually, funny enough, a lot of them do know that. I mean, because
I'm sure
there was a documentary on CNBC that I watched a few years back where they actually talked about Africa as its next gold rush.
Of course.
Because every country in the world now is off trained. They're laser focused on Africa because it's such an untapped resources.
Of course,
so
it's the last frontier. I tell people
every time I fly to Nigeria or I fly out of Nigeria, I feel like I'm the only black person on the plane. So
my husband said that too.
So it's like, obviously there must be something great there
happening in Africa.
So I mean, if they're not telling
they're keeping a secret,
and that's what I tell some of my patients, that, because every time they ask me, but Africa, I said, no, you need to go. I will show them pictures and they can't believe it. And I say, well, it's a secret because the same guys, I was at the golf club, at IBB Golf Club in Abuja, and I'm hearing this gregarious laugh, and it's a Caucasian man just laughing.
And I time of his life.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm like, where are you from? It's from Alabama. I'm like, oh, wow, wonderful. And I talked to my friend. I'm like, those are the people that will go back and they will tell, oh, Africa is a bad country. It's a dark continent. You don't want to go there.
Because they don't want everyone to come over there and they take over their resources.
Wonderful time. Yeah. So I mean, we're doing a lot of great things in Africa. Yeah, I mean, maybe you have some bad spots here and there, but for the most part, there's a lot of good things. I mean,
and a growth potential for business, economically.
Very, very, very. I mean, I'm not just saying it because because I'm from Africa, but I mean, mind you, I left there when I was 15. So I mean, by every virtue, I'm an American. I mean, that's the way I think. This way, that's where I act. But no, there's so much
potential. Yeah. Well, Dr. Ijiwoye, I'll give you the opportunity to share your information with my viewers or audience so they can know how to reach you, especially those in Nigeria where they have easy access to you, so that they can get more awareness, get more healing from your practice. So please share your information with my viewers.
Well, the name of the practice is Brainerd Chiropractic and Wellness Center. It is located in Mayfair Hotels in Ile-Ife in Osun State. Telephone numbers there are 0706 689 2954 or 0703 489 2328. Or you can reach me via email at Dr. James, which is one word, Dr. James, at Brainerd Chiro, I'll spell it, B as in boy, RENAJ CHIRO.com.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking time off, like I said before, and for giving us information about the practice of chiropractic. I wish you all the best, and I hope that this will bring more awareness to your business and to your product. And good luck in treating the people and giving them a better life than taking pills and drowning themselves and killing the livers. And like I said, always, I wanted to bring you the very best of Africa, and let you know that we do just like you all do here. Take care of ourselves. Want to take care of ourselves the best way we can. So thank you again, and
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You're always